So I finally managed to get these, took them out, made some cool pictures, and then I had one of those serious epiphanies. Let me share it with you. What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I'm back with another review. This time I'm reviewing the Guardians of the Galaxy Starlord and Drax figures. I did not opt to pick up everyone, even though I loved the movie thoroughly. The figures are not of the kind of quality that I would spend, you know, over $100 for all of them. And I'm not spending $20 or 21 whatever, 22 something for that Rocket Raccoon figure when he's not the same size, nor does he have the same articulation as the rest of these guys do. So no. Matter of fact, because of some of the issues with these guys, I'm not getting any more Marvel Legends. I'm okay with these guys, but for the price point, they're out of their fucking minds. And most of you guys that think that this is acceptable and you've been collecting other figures, you have no fucking clue what's going on. And I'm not going to pay that much money. I mean, when you look at, this is an old DC Direct figure from, I want to say, what, late 90s, maybe early 2000s. Look at, he's got simple paint on him, but the sculpt and the paint, he even has a paint defect on him. Damn, he's fucking huge, sorry. He even has a paint defect on him around his mask on the side, and still the paint job is better. The paint is more quality. It's just not, how do I put it? It's just, you see what you're paying for. You know what I'm saying? Plus he has the very standard DC Direct articulation that we're accustomed to at this point when those figures were coming out. We can move over to Masters of the Universe. This is Catra. We'll put her a little bit, we'll have to move Drax over. I just want to show you guys, when I complain or when I'm not happy, my reasoning is sound. It's not just so I can hate on something. So Catra has, as you can see, a decent little wash on her. And I'm going to take some nice little still pictures, but I want you to see, matter of fact, we'll do this. We'll move her here under the light. We'll go over and we'll look at her. Look at the wash. It's not the shadow on her tunic or whatever. There's a wash. Even on her boots there's a light wash, but you see how the top is flat with some shiny, you know, finished parts, you know, gloss finished parts, but then her boots are gloss finished and so are her bracers. There's different types of paint on here, even in her face, right? I'll try and do this so that it makes sense. There we go. Look at her face. You know? There's, even in the cape is, it's black, I'm sorry, it's purple with a nice little wash on it. You're getting paint, this is what I'm saying. And this figure, I got her for $10 at Big Lots. $10. And there's all that paint. Yes, these figures usually go for about $35 or so, but you know, still, that's a lot of paint detail for, you know, a very simple figure. Look at Swamp Thing in the background, you know? I'll turn the lights towards him. Look at all that paint. And that was about, I want to say he was like 30 bucks. And meanwhile, these guys are almost, they're 20-something dollars. And there's like no paint on these guys. All the paint on Starlord is on his coat. All the paint here on Drax is all on those tattoos, and that's it. And the little detail on his shoes, his boots. So, you know, overall, I'm not as impressed with these guys as most of you guys seem to be. I mean, the movie deserved rave reviews. The figures, not so much. Now, they're Marvel Legends, and the articulation is pretty much standard Marvel Legends fare. So I'm not really going to focus too much on the articulation, but I will focus on joints. A lot of people reviewed the new X-Men figures, and they omitted the gummy joint syndrome. It's not so bad on Drax, but it is here. Like, if you look at, you feel his arms are really gummy in the joints. The thing is, he's a bigger character, so the joint itself is thicker, so you don't have to worry so much. The same goes on his knees. Sometimes when you're bending his, I think it's on this one, it's kind of stiff. When you bend the knees, the joint kind of gives, more so than any other Marvel Legend I've ever bought. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It doesn't mean that my character is secure when standing. It doesn't mean that they use the proper plastic. It almost feels like they use the same cheap-ass plastic that they were using for Retaliation, and I'm not feeling that. Starlord, it's even worse. With Starlord, his arm is so warped. Do you see how bent that is? Even with hot water, it wouldn't go back. And like, no matter what I do, it's floppy. Look. That shouldn't happen. That's way too gummy. And people have said these figures are awesome. They're so amazing. I give him props for the sculpt, but yeah, he's the one with the weird knee. It stretches when I try to get the double jointed knee to work. I mean, look at it in the light. You see that? It's stretching. It's not turning. So, you know, at some point it's going to just rip. Sculpt wise, these figures are nice. I like how they did an approximation of Chris Pratt's face with this particular Starlord figure, which is nice. I think that's what Marvel is going for all these figures. Instead of making them actually look 100% like the character, they're making them look kinda like the character. Starlord also has the alternate head, and he seems like he's the guy who got the majority of the stuff, you know, the most gear and whatnot. He got, you know, he has the Infinity Gem encased in that orb. He has the 2 pistols. He has the little satchel. He has his Walkman, his headphones and his Walkman, which I really think is cool because that was a very important part of the movie. It's really small. You almost can't tell what it is, but because we know it works, opening these guys up was fun because I love the movie. Outside of that, if I didn't see the movie, I would have passed these figures up completely. I have a connection with the characters based on the movie. I never read a single Guardians of the Galaxy comic, and the movie was it was damn good enough to make me enjoy these characters. The thing is, the quality of these characters, the quality of Hasbro's just about everything has been going down the shitter lately. And even though I like the sculpts, you know, their sculptors, excuse me, are some talented individuals, I'm not going to tell you that these figures are amazing. For one, the grips on their weapons is kind of bad. Star-Lord's hands, these are supposed to be kind of like holding things hands. When you put the gun in his hand, he doesn't actually grip it, and you have to kind of get the fingers to slot in between. You see where the trigger guard area is? So they just kind of sit there. You see that? So if he falls off your shelf, that's it. It's just going to fall. At times, God, I hate when that happens. At times when I'm trying to, you know, pose him and make him shoot people, just the slightest little bump, and it comes out of his hand. You see that? I don't like that. If I'm going to pay $20 for a figure, I want him to, you know, work the way he's supposed to work. Also, their shoulder joints, especially on him, it's really weird getting the shoulder all the way in. I mean, look at the cut. You see that? It's really short right there. What the fuck? Does Hasbro not understand the concept of engineering? I mean, that seems to be their biggest problem these days. They do not engineer their figures, so the figures come out with stupid defects that a company that's been around for so long should not be having. I mean, Hasbro is the company that created the action figure. Why is it that we are having these kind of problems with our action figures? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, this review is not going to be super long. This is why I did it in the quick review style, because I'm not super impressed, but I'm happy that I got them because, you know, they're characters that I liked and I can put them in my little Marvel Legends display, but I'm not going to go nuts for them. Build-A-Figure pieces. It sucks, I'm going to have to buy Groot online, but look at that. Why is that happening? You never see that on Build-A-Figures. That's Groot's left arm, comes with Starlord. Groot's lower torso comes with Drax. Now, of the two, I like Drax better. I think Starlord comes with more stuff, so there's more options when playing with Starlord and whatnot, but Drax is just, I usually go for the fighters anyway. Those are my kind of characters because I am a fighter. And because the previous Marvel Legends Drax was just fucking pitiful. I mean, so pitiful. If you remember my Return of Marvel Legends review, I bought a bunch of those for my son, and I was not fucking happy with them, man. I was not happy. I just think he looks dope. Like, they did a good job with the look of this figure. The knives look really nice. You know, I'm fairly impressed with what they managed to pull off with this guy. I like that you put the knives in his boots and they fit perfectly, unlike a lot of DC collectible shit that hasn't been working for me. The tattoos all over the place, which you'll see in the stills, are nice. On Mr. Quill here, he's well sculpted, I'll give him that. I hate though that the trench coat seems to get in the way, and his body kind of feels like, he reminds me of the Spider-Man 2 Dr. Octopus. Now I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like. His arms, the trench coat, and the legs. It feels like they modded that. But, you know, I could be wrong. It could just be that they're similar in stature and that's it. But, you know, he's cool. I mean, he comes with a whole bunch of stuff, so yeah, he'd be the one of the two. He would be the one to get first because then you could get more junk to play with, you know what I mean? More stuff. Drax is just knives and a guy, you know? It's not bad. But the QC, man, the cheap plastic shit, it's like there's no reason for this, none at all. Like if I'm used to, like for me, I've collected Japanese figures for a decent amount of time, but I've also collected other higher end figures, like shit from DC Collectibles or DC Direct. And if I can just go to my comic book store and get a figure, oh come on. If I can go to my comic book store and get figures well painted, well sculpted, with, you know, this level of paint on them. Hopefully I won't knock something else down. It's getting crowded back here again. But I mean, you look at Starlord and Drax, no paint on them. And then you look at Firefly and look at all the different types of paint, you know, equally as awesome sculpting as these guys, but just look at all the paint, all the intricate details all over the place, and look at these guys. They barely painted anything smaller than these buckles. You know, I'm surprised they painted all of the tatted parts on Drax. I was not expecting that, you know, but they did. So what I'm saying is, you know, for your money, there are other things that you could get that are far better as far as value goes than these guys. These guys are cool if you just got money burning a hole in your pocket, then you need them, you know, and then you spend the money and be happy with what you get. Or if you're one of those Marvel Legends completist cult, you know, fanboys who loves to say, I'm just a completist, I have to get all of them, whatever, fine. You know, if that's what you feel like doing, then yeah, they'll be, you know, kind of worth it, because you're not buying them to play with them, you're not buying them to pose them on a regular basis, you're just buying them to have them. So if that's the case, get them. But if you want a quality figure, I don't think these guys really qualify. I mean, I guess they will not fall apart, but I kind of feel like the gummy, rubbery plastic is not going to last over time if you do decide to pose them over and over and over. I mean, I've done reviews of Cops figures, and the plastic they used in there was the brittle, old school kind of plastic, and playing with them, dropping them, and all kinds of shit, they didn't break, you know? But there's like G.I. Joe Retaliation figures that I got when the movie came out, and they've already broken. You know what I mean? So, and they had that same gummy kind of plastic. So I'm just saying, be careful. It's all up to you. If you think that this is acceptable and you just don't plan on doing much with these figures, then by all means, get them. You won't be sorry. But if you're like me and you like high quality action figures, then these guys are kind of a pass. You won't find Gamora in the store anytime soon because she's a female figure, and the Marvel Legends scalpers love to drive up the price of those figures, even though, like I said, she's there. You know, she'll probably be more difficult to find, but she's there. I've seen almost everyone except for her in the store. Nova, seen him in the store. That Iron Man is atrocious, and a lot of people like him, but we don't need another Iron Man. And that's just how I feel about it. It's just, Marvel Legends, I don't know. The recent crap that's been going on with action figures from, you know, Mattel, Hasbro, and even DC Collectibles, it's really turned me off to collecting from American figures. You know, I'm about to go full steam into my import figures and, you know, build up my Kamen Rider collection, because my SIC Kamen Rider collection and a couple SH Figure Arts. But if I'm gonna pay $20 to $30 for a figure, then I want a certain level of quality. It's just plain and simple. If I can drop the same amount of money and get this quality, I mean, look at the paint job on that 3 3/4 inch figure. Fucking amazing. Way more intricate details than, because this is a reimagining of this guy. That's how clean the movie version or TV version looks. So these here are reimaginings. The SIC figures. This is Kiwami Tamashi, and this is the regular SIC. They're released in volumes, mostly 2-packs. If I can get this kind of detail out of a figure that I'm spending 20 something to 30 something per figure on, then I'm gonna stick with this kind of shit. Look at the posability on this guy. Can you do that with a Marvel Legend? Anyone besides maybe Spider-Man? No, you can't. You can't at all, because they don't even give them the right articulation. So, like I said, I'm done. I know they just crashed that that review, but this is where I'm going with my stuff. I'm sick of this shitty QC, shitty, you know, material crap that we're getting from Mattel and Hasbro. Hasbro should be ashamed of themselves. They make far too much money per year to be giving us this kind of shit in their right minds, and then try to tell us some kind of stupid excuse that, you know, it's because of this and it's because of that. Like, yeah, no, I'm not buying it anymore. If you guys choose to, then, you know, good for you. You know, and I hate to get so negative, you know. Today's my birthday. I'm trying to be, you know, proactive in getting these, whatchamacallits done. These reviews done, and I'm kind of annoyed. I'm tired of spending the money for bad distribution, fighting off scalpers, horrible paint jobs on these figures, or just shitty paint jobs, you know, like when I could just stick to what I've always been getting and get quality stuff too. So, like I said, that's it for me when it comes to Marvel Legends. I'm gonna continue looking for some of my X-Men people, because there's a couple Toy Biz Marvel Legends figures that I still want, and if they ever make a Jim Lee Cyclops, I might get him. I think before I buy Hasbro's, I will have someone make a custom from a DCUC Superman. Yeah, this kind of seals it for me. And it's funny because they're not, when you look at them, the figures are not bad looking figures. You know, they're not the worst looking figures at all, you know. If we're talking about the look of the figures, I would have been done when Banshee came out, when Hasbro first picked up the license, because that Banshee figure was awful. These figures look cool, don't get me wrong. It's just, they look cheap, you know? And they were done on the cheap. So for Hasbro to be charging us what they're charging us, and they're not upping the engineering, upping the articulation, they're not upping anything, you know? I can't make them do this, you know? If I can't do all that kind of stuff, then I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, Get these if you like them as they are, just for the pure nostalgia. But if you're expecting quality, they have gummy joints all over the place except for in their torso. I don't know how long that soft plastic will last. Starlord has gummy plastic in his arms. Well, let's see, elbows, knees, and hands. I don't know. And feet, actually, because his ankles have it in there too. A lot of the new stuff has it in there too. So I really don't know how long these figures will last. But like I showed you before, there are far better figures that you can get for a little bit less, you know. Some of these SIC, you know, 2-packs, like the one that came with Stronger and his girl Tackle, that was a $50, I think it was $40 when it came out, and it was $50 when I got it for Christmas. My homeboy Clarion Prime got them for me. So if you can get 2 figures that size with light up features and nice articulation and everything, and like insane paint jobs and multiple colored plastics, the fuck are they doing? Or if you go over to like NECA and you see that NECA has released their Diablo figure, every figure they've released has been a unique sculpt, and the figure is about $20. On average, I want to say that's about what NECA figures cost. $20, and you get better paint, you get better sculpts, you get better articulation. Sometimes you don't get the best plastic, but overall you get pretty good product with so much awesome paint all over the place. Why the hell would you pay that for this? You're not getting the same quality, and that's a big reoccurring issue with you know, the recent Marvel figures. So yeah, I'm happy to have them, don't get me wrong, and it's because of my connection to the film. But outside of that, they're okay figures. They're just okay. But you're paying like the price for you're paying more than what an okay figure should cost. Okay figures, these should be $10 figures. You know, 12 if you want to be, you know, a little bit, you want to give them credit. These aren't better painted or sculpted than old school Marvel Legends. You know what I mean? This guy actually feels a lot like the old school Marvel Legends in his construction, but it's the materials and the paint. I can't stress it enough. You know, Bandai has all these different options for you where they do better stuff. I'm not sponsored by Bandai. I just have the best luck with Bandai stuff. It's not even luck. I've seen the most consistency with Bandai stuff, you know? And they do go up in price, but come on. I mean, even Mattel's Masters of the Universe stuff, DC Direct stuff, like I pointed out before, it's just, there's no excuse. So anyway, on to the next one. Peace.